What's up, guys? Double Dog Gamer here, and today we're going to talk about what I'm really hoping we get from Arma 4. Now, I've been a huge fan of this series ever since the original OG Operation Flashpoint, which started it all for Bohemia, and really kicked the series off with a blast. That Cold War rivalry gone hot. It was just one of those perfect scenarios, two nations going at it, two superpowers, and it was just amazing. And, each of the iterations from Operation Flashpoint to Arma 2 to Arma 3 always had that superpower play. Even if it wasn't the original intent of the game, with mods and everything else, you always had those two nations, large nations, coming together, and people would make it happen, and that's what made it fun. That Russia or the Soviets, versus the US or versus the British, and that's what made the game great. Arma 3 fell kind of short with its futuristic stuff, but when the mods brought in all the old Arma 2 things, which was the pinnacle of the series in my books, that's when it really started to shine. Now, with Arma 4, we have a few routes we can go. I've had a lot of people say that Syria, we need to do the conflict in Syria, the whole Middle East, and a giant Middle Eastern World War III scenario. No, it's too broad. And not only that, the factions involved would be just poorly equipped, and it would just be horrible. What I think we should have with Arma 4 is Asia. North Korea, South Korea, China, Russia up there, Japan, Vietnam, the United States. There's so many contested areas around the Korean Peninsula, Woody Islands, Parcel Islands, Spratly Islands. There's just so many areas of conflict over there between massive powers that any sort of fictional war Bohemia could come up with in that situation would just be insane. Not only that, I know Bohemia likes to make money with DLC. You could throw Vietnam into a DLC. You could throw freaking Taiwan into the DLC. I mean, you could pack so many freaking countries, because so many countries are drawn into territorial disputes in that area, including Russia. And people are gonna be like, oh, South Korea and North Korea, that would be great. It wouldn't. It would be completely one-sided, but it would be a cool scenario to start the series, saying like, this is it. North Korea's trying to invade, South Korea's, you start out supporting the South Koreans, and then all of a sudden, bam, China's involved. Bam, the US is in full involvement. Oh, fuck, Japan's doing stuff. Oh, shit, here comes Russia. Stuff like that. And the amount of units that these countries have. I mean, you would have such a variety of units, even though Japan and South Korea kind of use US equipment. They do go on their own to kind of make their own things. And that's the same with the Chinese. Chinese like to, recycle Russian stuff, but they go a step above and beyond and do their own things. The missile systems, the surface-to-air missiles, that's something that's really missing from the Arma series, is a really good representation of surface-to-air missiles. There is a mod maker by the name of Pookie who makes a awesome surface-to-air missile mod, the SAM pack, which has like SA-2s, SA-20s, just all kinds of stuff, SHORADs, just really an amazing amount of just surface-to-air missiles. And that's something that's, you get these jets in the Arma series, and they're pretty worthless. They can traverse the map pretty quickly. The air defenses are always man pads and things like that, or, SP, self-propelled AAA, and not really much of a defense. You can easily avoid them, but having to, or even, say you're working with your Milsim group, high priority targets, we got to take out this SA-20 site so we can start getting air support in the area, sneaky missions, sabotage, stuff like that. Or even the artillery. A lot of the surface-to-surface missiles that the Chinese have are insane. And the same with the Russians. I mean, the Iskanders and stuff like that. I think I'm pronouncing them right. There's just so much military technology right now in that region that gameplay-wise, it could go anywhere. You could start it with just North Korea and South Korea, and then Next expansion. Here comes Japan and the US versus China. Next expansion. And just throw all kinds of stuff. And that would, because Arma is a modder's paradise. Giving everybody that kind of broad spectrum and that area to work with would completely change the way, these scenarios are written. Usually most scenarios are just, US versus Russia and stuff like that nowadays, or just the default arming units, yada yada, stuff like that. But could you imagine like Russia versus China and stuff like that? And just, it would be crazy. And the great thing about this is that a lot of the territorial disputes happen around islands and sea. You know how much Arma likes to make islands because, well, they're easier. One of the things, so you would get you could make these islands, even though they're small, they could be little contested areas and stuff like that, or, small little maps like UTES type maps, and that would actually represent some of these islands. I mean, Spratly Island is pretty fucking tiny compared to everything else, and those areas are there, and hopefully nobody gets arrested trying to take pictures of them because, the Chinese will actually fucking execute you kind of thing, so don't go take pictures of Spratly Island. Bohemia, for fuck's sakes. No one else in prison. But it's just such a broad scenario range that we could do, and this is the hotbed of activity for the superpowers. Is all of that the Sea of Japan, East China Sea, all of that is just a huge hotbed of activity. This would also allow focus on one of the things that disappointed me the most with Arma 3. Now, when they were showing Arma 3, it was always about the water. Oh, then our water in the ships now, it's going to be so much better. Now you can dive. And all we got were these little fucking ribs and stuff like that. And nobody really perfected large-scale ships, destroyers and stuff. While they're out there, they're not really functional or, as good as they could have been. And Bohemia really dropped the ball. They had this tech with the sea, but they just really neglected ships 110%, and that was something everyone was really excited for. We finally started getting some naval power into the Arma series. It's always been there, but it's always been, that very wonky way of working. You land on it and the chopper explodes and stuff like that. You can't walk around on it, and they dropped the ball on that. But with this region, naval power is essential for any of these scenarios, and it would give them the opportunity to start making working aircraft carriers where you can walk around and they move, or destroyers you can walk around and move, land a chopper on them and they don't bounce around and explode and stuff like that. Entire carrier task force, subs, actual submarines, not the little SDVs. Just so much stuff. Could you imagine fleet battles, like huge maps? They have the technology. If you don't know, Bohemia makes something called VBS, which is the military version of the Arma series. And they always have more tech involved in that than they do the Arma series, because the Arma series is consumer. They've perfected naval stuff since Arma 2. They've done quite a few naval orders, and you can Google these videos. They're all over YouTube. Aircraft carriers, LHDs, LCACs, stuff like that. They've perfected all of this stuff before. And with their new VBS 3, they're able to make larger maps, pretty much like world-sized maps, and run naval power with it, and AI, and just the list goes on and on. They have the technology to do this. They know how to do this. They have the engine for it. They can do it. It's, will they do it? Will they tap out and go futuristic, or will they take a hotbed area with a ton of nations and just take that work and just turn it into something amazing? If we could get that sort of thing from Arma 4, I think it would be one of the best games ever made. I mean, just getting naval power, air power, everything that made Arma right, but adding those aspects and making it bigger, better, more nations, more vehicles, more systems, more intricate. That would be where I would want it to be. And also, stop that little chicken dance people do when you shoot them when they have body armor. Ain't nobody fucking flinches like they got a fucking hot coal in their back when they get hit body armor. Seriously, Bohemia, fucking fix that. That's the stupidest shit ever. Thanks. But the sky's the limit with Arma 4, and I'm really hoping we can get to, I want to get away from the Middle East. It's always one-sided stuff, and it's, nobody likes hunting down fucking Joe Schmo in a fucking goat field and a goat herd with a fucking AK. Fuck that. That's not fun. Get away from the Middle East. Get away from that area. Hit Asia. We got jungles. We got mountains. We got, islands. There's just so much stuff to do there. There's so many conflicts, so many nations, and most of this stuff's done already. Most of these modders have made models, have done equipment for this, and all you would have to do is just buy it from the modders and literally put it in the game and just add whatever you're going to add, tweak it. I think if Arma 4 doesn't go this route, they would have to find a real good. I mean, the only thing I could really think they would do at this point would be real conflict is Ukraine or Syria. But I think the Middle East, we've been there, we've done that. I don't think that's going to happen again. What we did, where we went with Arma 3 wasn't really, it was a little lame. We can't do futuristic anymore. Bohemia, no more futuristic shit. Keep it present day. There's enough future crap in present day that you guys don't have to go that fucking far into it, okay? Thank you. And pay the licensing and actually name the fucking vehicles what they're called. Stop being cheap. You guys made boatloads of money on Arma 3. You can pay the licensing fees, for fuck's sakes. Gonna add that too. Please, for fuck's sakes, do that. Pay the licensing fees, name them the correct things, not freaking Gorgons and stupid shit like that. But yeah, Arma 4, if they need to add the tech they have with VVS3, make it more the world's bigger. Air power, surface-to-air missiles need to start being a thing. Get those systems in, like Pookie has, and focus on naval. We need naval power. We need working destroyers. We need that ability. That's what Arma's missing. The series has been missing that naval gameplay, and we really need it. And please put it in Asia so we can have China, Russia, Japan, all those fun stuff, North Korea, and be able to make some amazing content from it, and amazing missions and campaigns. It would give you guys the ability to go above and beyond in storytelling because you would have such a large and vast story to go through it. But anyways, boys, this is what I want to see with Arma 4. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you would like to see that also, or what you would like to see from the future of the series. But anyways, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.